of Gavin Reshaw Presents. It's been a while since I've been on here, a little over a week. I've just been dealing with a lot, guys. I'm sorry if you haven't seen me. I had to dedicate this video to everyone that's helped me in these last couple of weeks. I've been dealing with in these last few weeks. I'm dedicating this especially to my aunt Marion, who passed away. I've been dealing with that death in my family. So rest in peace. I hope everyone is doing great. We're trying to get some more people in. Let me go ahead and share the live stream. We won't be all day today, but let's see. Hold on a second. Give me a second, guys. Okay. So I'm doing this video. If you guys don't know by the title, it's called Living in the Age of Ratchetness. We're dealing with attention hoes today. So earlier this week and the last past week or two, we have been seeing a stream of videos that have been uploaded on social media platforms from Instagram, Twitter, Facebook, wherever you are, with regards to, had to get that window out of the way, excuse me. Yeah, with these videos that are uploaded where people are doing basically stupid and things, criminal activity, ratchet stuff, and hence the title Attention Hoes, for the purposes of obviously getting 15 minutes of fame. And it makes me wonder the direction that we are in the society. And I was talking with my brother, Drew Hepkins, from Drew Story News, shout out to him, where we were just talking yesterday, and we talked about the state of society now and how everything that we're seeing, especially from, I said this, the election of Donald Trump is a reflection of how America is now, how sick it is. That we live in an age of societal decay and of ratchetness. And I don't think America is, and I think America has basically been falling down a cliff for the past 40, 50 years. Obviously. Now, of course, I haven't been around during that time, and we didn't feel the big side effects that we see today now when you talk about, people not being, single parent homes. Of course, they always had single parents, and, lack of male authority in the house. I think that's relevant. And I saw that video. We've seen the videos that we were just talking about. This video of this fight at Disneyland, which was probably the most disturbing thing that I've ever seen in a long time, where this big ass man is punching and beating the shit out of his sister. I believe I don't know who the other woman was, if that was his girlfriend or whoever she was. And I know his mother was there, and she got knocked down to the ground as well. Now, of course, in the video, I didn't know what actually started the fight. There was obviously an argument where he's cursing at her, and his sister spits on him. And hence, when she spits on him in his face, he does punch her. Now, I understand the rules about not hitting women, and I don't want anyone to think that I'm using this video or I'm using this part to condone what he did, by no means. But being a woman, is not a woman doesn't mean you get to lay your hands on anyone, especially you do not spit on someone, because obviously that not only is disgusting, it's a complete show of disrespect uh, to that person. It's also criminal as well. It is a battery per se. And being a female, being a black person, whether you're white, black, doesn't matter what your color is, doesn't matter what your sex is, how old you are, that's something you don't do. And clearly, you can't condone anything like that. And I think a lot of women think do play on that stereotype that we have in America, or that men aren't supposed to touch women. But there are women who will go ahead and try and egg on. There are some women, not all, that will try to egg on and act and think that they can fight like men, and that they'll get their behinds knocked out. Now, with regards to this gentleman, I shouldn't call him a gentleman, but what he did, I noticed that he was only attacking. He did fight another man who obviously was in the family. I think that was probably his brother-in-law. I'm not sure. I don't know the relations. I do know one was the mother. I knew one was the sister, because you hear them screaming at each other. And the mother got knocked down, and he did fight with the man briefly, but he was mostly fighting all the women, which tells me that there is no man in that household, because I don't know. I know for a fact in my family, and I don't know in your family, but I don't know a real man that will put his hands on his mother and his sister, and then their father wouldn't check them, or their brother wouldn't check them. Something like that would happen where there's a strong male influence in the household. That type of stuff wouldn't go along. And you noticed when you watched the video, I noticed in particular that when other men were coming around, he would stop. And it wasn't really until 3 minutes into the video when other men came along, because everyone is just sitting there looking at it. And while this man is putting his hands on a woman, and then a few men later on, they come in because they see him beating up the girl, not just the sister, but the other female, who I think may have been his sister-in-law. I'm not sure the relationship, but they step in and tackle him to the ground later on. Now, another issue that I had was that the Disneyland security, and this is in Disneyland, which is one of the highest priced places, one of the most visited places in the world, obviously a tourist attraction, because it's set up that way. It's an amusement park. In probably their largest section, Toontown, because you have nothing but little kids there. And that's another problem. They see all of this. Their children were there as well, in the middle of all of that. Kids in baby strollers are in the middle of their parents, literally throwing punches at each other, spitting on each other, cursing at each other. And I feel so sorry for them. But I'm more upset at the fact that the security that was there, when you watch the video 3 minutes in, they weren't doing shit. Where were they? How long was their cigarette break? They didn't come until 4 minutes later, and the civilians were the ones that broke up everything. Then they came in trying to, you see one security guard coming in with the earpiece, trying to back everyone off. And it's my understanding no charges have been filed as of yet. Things like that show me how bad as a society we have gone. And it was a complete disgrace, especially seeing that these were Black people doing that. Now, of course, Ratchetness is not just in the Black community. I saw a video now, and this is where I'm getting into the other topics of the attention hose, the Gargle challenge, where I saw this. It was obviously this white homosexual man who took a bottle of Listerine. I'm assuming it looked like a Walmart, and opened the seal, gargled, poured it down his throat, gargled, spit it back into the bottle, and left it on the shelf. I also saw the video. Obviously, I'm aware of the young female that was licking licking a Bluebell ice cream container, opened the container, licked it, and recorded herself doing it. I saw another video, and I hate to say this, it was in Louisiana, my home state, of in Assumption Parish now, not New Orleans, thank God. But nevertheless, this black man takes he does the same thing. He licks this ice cream and even puts his fingers through it and puts it back on the shelf. And I saw a video, and this is a white guy who took a bottle of Arizona tea, a gallon of Arizona tea, drank it, and spit it back into, or no, sorry, he didn't drink it. He spat into it and left it on the shelf. Now, when you do this, obviously you're doing, this is called food tampering. And it's also a crime. It's called criminal notice. You know, the girl in the Bluebell ice cream, the original young black lady that was in the video, she was underage, so they didn't release her age, but she recorded it on Instagram. This guy recorded it on Instagram, and they posted on Facebook. These idiots are literally posting criminal activity on websites and on social media platforms, and they're incriminating themselves when they do it. Just think how stupid you had to be. You know, growing up as a kid in the 90s, of course, you didn't have social media platforms. You didn't have a cell phone that can record. You know, the cell phones that we had in early 2000s, I was with the hard ones where you could type, where you had to type the numbers in. You didn't phones that you saw in the 80s, it was a mobile phone, you know, but you didn't obviously have a cell phone with a camera on it growing up back then. So you didn't record as easily. So if you want to record anything, you would put it on a video. You would take a big video camera, VCR recorder is what we called it, or, you know, a JVC camera, and you can record things there, and it'll have the time and date stamp. But who would record themselves? Who is dumb enough to record themselves committing a criminal act like that? And this girl in the ice cream challenge that she did, the licking challenge, excuse me, she's young, I get it, and what she did was stupid, but you know what she did was wrong, and she needs to be taught a lesson, because you can, you know, something like that, when you're doing that, you can hurt the public. It hurts the public. It affects the public. And you got a 36-year-old man doing the same thing. How fucking dumb are you? And I saw his interview, excuse my language, but I saw his interview. I read what he was saying, how he was locked up with real murderers and criminals. And you know what? It should be a lesson to you not to do that stuff. And you should know better being a man, a 36-year-old man at that point, that, you know, this is stuff I shouldn't do. Even when you were a kid, I know as a kid myself, when we walked into a store with our grandparents, what did your grandmother say? Don't touch nothing. Of course, I was tempted to touch the Super Soaker and the fire truck. Then I saw the toys. You know, that's the aisle we all wanted to go down as kids. Or if we went down the food aisle, we all wanted to get chips, and we would point to our grandmothers. Or sometimes I'd stay in the line pointing at it, looking at it, so that I could get their attention, because I made sure I didn't do anything to embarrass my family or that would get my ass whooped back then. But 36-year-old man, and then this fool that spat in the Arizona tea, you know, all of them need to be arrested. And these are also felony acts. You know, the young girl is being charged as a juvenile, so obviously she's not going to be, she's obviously not going to be, I think, in jail for the rest of her life or anything. I know that it's a 20-year sentence that they stated, but I believe the young lady, this was in Texas, so they've actually had, since this video, they've had pictures of police officers standing in ice cream in front of the ice cream aisle in grocery stores. I see this here. This was reported on Rudiso News. I've seen police officers standing there. You know, this isn't funny. In Texas, I think it's about 10 years for food tampering. She actually was facing 20 years. One dude, this dude in that got arrested in Iberia Parish, he was charged with criminal mischief, and he was also charged with, let's see here. I'm sorry, it was Assumption Parish. 36 years old man. His name is Lenice Martin III. Okay. This is a grown man. Now, there's another video. We don't know who the guy with the iced tea video is. So I would put his name out there if I get it. And, I'll try and share that with you guys again. But moving on, nevertheless, this is the age that we live in. People are doing things for attention and, attention. It's a very dangerous thing. Now, it's a sad thing that we live in this world where people would do things like this. Now, this stuff I'm sure has been going on for a long time. Obviously, we have videos now of it, but I never thought I would see it to this point where it was something that people tried to celebrate. That it was something, we're celebrating ratchetness and decay, and the society is decaying. When you have someone that can do stuff like spit in a green tea and put it on camera and upload it like it's nothing and think that's cool. The Disneyland fight. I mean, society is decaying right now. It already has. We've gone down the cliff, and I don't think there's any turning back. And if there is, let me know. Now, they got decent people out in the world too. I believe that, and I saw in that video these men that stepped in to break up this fight. I think that there are people who are doing good things in the world, but I'm just, disgusted. So, hold on one second, guys. Let me just put this up here. I'm going to share this link with you. Okay, so Martin is facing multiple charges. This is a guy from the ice cream that licked the ice cream in the Assumption Parish grocery store. He was charged and facing multiple charges, including unlawful posting of criminal activity for notoriety and publicity, and tampering with property. There's also criminal mischief charge. So the fact that you commit an act for notoriety and publicity, meaning that when you spit in an iced tea and you upload it on a platform, if you upload it on Instagram, if you do a gargle challenge, if you do the ice cream challenge, whatever it is, and you upload it right there, that's a charge because you're doing it for notoriety and publicity. So, and it is criminal activity to do because it is tampering with food. It is not your product until you actually purchase that item. You know, so if you're thinking about doing this, guys, please don't. You're just going to embarrass yourselves. You're going to face criminal charges and paying a lot of money, and you're obviously going to have to pay me to represent you or any other attorney in the area. And I don't think you want to spend money on attorney's fees. But then again, I don't mind it either, obviously, because that's how I get paid and make a living. But I'm just disappointed in the way our country is going, and I'm disgusted. I don't know if there is hope. I still believe, just out of necessity, that there are people out there who feel the same way as I do and would like to change things and think that stuff like this won't be tolerated, hopefully. And you hate to say it's all on parenting, but Like, then again, it is too. I don't see, and I just don't see any other way. And I think also you can't just get rid of the internet. Of course, people do things uh, for publicity and for being popular. They think they're going to get uh, deals, endorsement deals, or they'll get money to do all of this stuff, and it doesn't work that way. If you want something in life, you got to work for it, and you got to put the sacrifice in. You got to bust your ass. So that's it for me, guys. I got to run, but yeah, the link is in the chat description here. I got several links. I especially didn't like this Disneyland fight because I knew Fox News was going to talk about it and find some way to. I know eventually they're going to find some way to try to racialize it. You know how they do. But it was disgusting, and I knew it was going to come once they saw. Even in the original video that I saw, the gentleman, he mentioned about his commentary about all the racist comments he saw, and said it had nothing to do with race. These ratchetness, just ratchet people, and in all groups, which is true. They just know how to whites just know how to broadcast it and know when not to show it. And even when they show it, they celebrate it and put it in a way where it's like, oh well, he's just young and dumb. Kind of like even with these mass school shootings, they find a way to make the kids, the shooters, sympathetic. But please stop doing this dumb shit and ratchetness. If you want to be popular, work for it. You want to be a celebrity, see what field you want to be in. You want to be an actor or a writer or whatever. If you want 15 minutes of fame, find another way. Just don't do anything criminal. So that's it for me today, guys. Shout out to everyone who it's not in the chat box, obviously, but who's going to watch this video later. We'll see you then. Peace.